Understanding does not arrive when it is useful, it arrives when influence is already gone. This delay is not accidental, it is structural. Clarity does not lead action in complex systems, it follows consequence. By the time understanding appears, the system has already moved past the point where insight could alter direction. This is why understanding feels painful rather than empowering. The moment of realization is often mistaken for the moment of failure. It is not. Failure occurred earlier. Understanding simply arrived late. This pattern repeats because systems restrict visibility while leverage exists. They reveal structure only after commitment has accumulated. Early in any relationship, leverage is high. Paths remain open. Adjustment is possible. Exit is inexpensive. But information is poor. Signals are ambiguous. Patterns are incomplete. Outcomes are uncertain. At this stage, understanding cannot form. There is not enough data. The system is still testing itself. People feel confusion rather than clarity, questions rather than conclusions, hope rather than certainty. This is the phase where influence exists, and insight does not. As time passes, repetition begins. The same misunderstandings recur. The same conflicts resurface. The same disappointments appear in different forms. Each repetition adds data. Slowly, structure becomes visible. But with visibility comes commitment. Shared routines deepen. Expectations solidify. Dependencies form. The system is becoming legible and rigid. This is the trade-off. Understanding requires repetition. Repetition creates lock-in. The very process that produces clarity also consumes leverage. This is why people often say they finally understand what went wrong, and then add that it is too late. They are correct. Understanding arrived on schedule. Leverage did not wait. This is especially visible in relationships. Early discomfort feels situational. It is explained away by stress, timing, or adjustment. There is always a reason not to conclude. Concluding would require evidence. Evidence requires time. By the time time has passed, the relationship has already absorbed cost. This cost reduces flexibility. Flexibility disappears quietly. Nothing announces its departure. The relationship still functions. Affection still exists. Communication still occurs. But the range of possible outcomes has narrowed. This narrowing is rarely noticed until it is complete. At that point, understanding becomes unavoidable. Patterns are undeniable. Expectations collapse. The structure reveals itself clearly. This clarity feels sudden. It is not. It was built slowly and delivered late. The mistake is assuming that understanding should arrive earlier. It cannot. Early understanding would be speculation. Systems do not reveal themselves through single events. They reveal themselves through accumulation. Accumulation requires time. Time removes leverage. This creates the central asymmetry. When leverage exists, clarity is low. When clarity exists, leverage is gone. This asymmetry governs regret. People do not regret what they knew, they regret what they could not know sooner. The pain is not from ignorance, it is from delayed visibility. This is why advice fails at the moment of realization. Advice assumes leverage still exists. It does not. Understanding at this stage is diagnostic, not corrective. It explains what happened. It does not reopen paths. This distinction is often missed. People believe insight should restore agency. In many systems, it does the opposite. It confirms limitation. This is why understanding often coincides with grief. Not because something was lost in that moment, but because the loss becomes undeniable. The system no longer allows reinterpretation. Understanding removes ambiguity. Ambiguity sustained hope. Hope delayed action. Action required leverage. This sequence is structural. Understanding is produced by repetition. Repetition produces commitment. Commitment produces constraint. Constraint removes leverage. The order cannot be reversed. This pattern mirrors delayed feedback. Feedback becomes accurate only after outcomes stabilize. Understanding becomes clear only after influence fades. Accuracy and usefulness are intention. Systems prioritize accuracy. They allow misalignment to persist until certainty forms. Certainty forms only after consequence accumulates. By then, change is expensive. This explains why people often say they finally understand themselves after the relationship ends. The ending did not create understanding. It removed noise. Once the system collapses, signals clarify. Distance increases signal quality, but distance eliminates leverage. This is not cruelty. It is design. Understanding is not meant to guide systems mid-flight. It is meant to explain them after the fact. This is why insight often feels like punishment. It arrives precisely when it cannot be applied. This leads to a common misinterpretation. People believe they failed to act because they did not understand. In reality, they did not understand because acting required time they did not yet have. The system withheld clarity until repetition justified it. This is also why early warnings feel unconvincing. Isolated discomfort does not carry authority. Single conflicts do not reveal structure. The system demands pattern before meaning. Pattern requires endurance. Endurance consumes leverage. This circular dependency traps participants. They wait for clarity to act. Clarity waits for repetition. Repetition locks outcomes. The trap is complete. Understanding then arrives as certainty. Certainty arrives as finality. This is why understanding often coincides with resignation, not apathy, acceptance. Acceptance emerges when influence is gone. The system no longer asks for decision. It presents conclusion. This can feel like relief. The uncertainty is over. The confusion ends. But the cost is agency. Understanding trades possibility for coherence. This trade-off is rarely discussed. People are taught to seek understanding as empowerment. In many systems, understanding is the confirmation that empowerment has passed. This does not mean understanding is useless. It has a different function. It integrates experience. It prevents repetition. It informs future selection. But it does not rescue the present system. This distinction matters. Understanding is upstream of future systems. It is downstream of current ones. Applying it backward is impossible. This is why clarity often arrives with the sentence, "Now I see it," and is followed by, "I wish I had known earlier." Earlier knowing was structurally unavailable. The system had not yet produced the data required. This explains why intelligent, reflective people still stay too long. Intelligence accelerates pattern recognition, but it cannot compress time. Reflection improves interpretation, but it cannot reverse commitment. No internal capacity overrides temporal structure. This is the structural limit. When structure changes, effort appears to work. In systems like this, timing determines whether understanding guides action or merely explains loss. Within this structure, no amount of late insight can restore leverage once outcomes have stabilized. Understanding did not fail. It arrived exactly when the system allowed it. Clarity lags influence.